When you're standing in the kitchen wondering whether a high-end dual-fuel range is really worth the investment, the question comes down to three things: who will actually benefit from the extra flexibility, who might be better off with a simpler setup, and whether the price makes sense for everyday cooking. If you're the kind of home chef who loves juggling a sear on the stovetop while a bake is happening in the oven, you might be in the right place. If you mostly make one-pot meals and never push a grill burner to the max, that extra horsepower could end up gathering dust. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I spent the last 2 weeks taking a ZLINE Autograph Edition 36-inch range through a real kitchen routine, from weekday breakfast pancakes to a Sunday night brisket that needed a low and slow oven and a high heat sear. The biggest hesitation I had before unboxing was the price tag and the fact that dual fuel units can be a bit of a maintenance headache. It's not just about buying a range, it's about committing to both a gas line and a dedicated electric circuit, and then learning how to balance two different energy sources in a single cooking session. That's why I'm trying to break down where the real value lives, and where the hidden trade-offs lurk. First, let's talk about who should actually buy this thing. If you're a serious home entertainer, think dinner parties, holiday spreads, or a regular habit of experimenting with sous vide, baking, and grilling, the ZLINE 6 Italian-made burners with auto reignition give you a level of control that most standard ranges simply don't provide. The dual-function brass burner, for instance, can switch from a low simmer to a high-intensity wok flame in seconds, which is perfect for dishes like pad thai where you need that quick, vigorous heat without moving the pan. The fact that the burners are Italian-engineered means they tend to stay lit even if a sudden gust of kitchen air hits them, which is a subtle but reassuring safety net for anyone who's ever had a burner sputter out mid-saut. On the oven side, the electric convection element heats up faster than the average built-in, shaving a few minutes off preheat time. In my tests, the oven reached 425 F in roughly 8 minutes, a noticeable edge when you're trying to get a crusty pizza or a quick batch of cookies out the door. The landscape window, a sleek, low-profile glass pane, let me keep an eye on the browning without opening the door and losing heat, which is a small but real convenience for delicate pastries. Now, who should think twice? If your cooking style leans heavily toward stovetop only, and you rarely use the oven for anything beyond reheating leftovers, you're probably paying for features you won't use. The dual-fuel setup does require a professional installation. You need both a dedicated 240-volt circuit for the oven and a gas line that can handle the high-output burners. That's an extra $200, $300 in installation costs, and it can be a deal-breaker for renters or homeowners on a tight budget. Also, the polished gold accents look gorgeous, but they tend to show fingerprints and smudges faster than brushed stainless, so you'll find yourself wiping down the knobs more often than you might expect. Moving on to practical strengths, the range's overall layout is designed for efficiency. The burners are spaced wide enough to accommodate large pans or multiple pots side by side, which means you can actually run a stir-fry while simmering a sauce without the pans fighting for space. The auto reignition comes into play the moment a burner flickers. The system sparks back up instantly, so you don't have to scramble for a lighter or worry about a flame dying out while you're in the middle of a recipe. In a real-world scenario, that saved me a few tense moments when I was boiling a pot of water and a sudden draft caused one burner to flare out. The range took care of it before I even noticed. The convection oven's fast preheat isn't just about speed, it also translates to more consistent results. I baked a batch of blueberry muffins, and the interior was uniformly risen, while the tops turned a perfect golden brown without the dry middle you sometimes get with slower heating ovens. The even heat distribution helped me achieve a crisp crust on a roasted chicken. Too, the skin was crackly while the meat stayed juicy, something that can be tricky on a single-zone electric oven. On the flip side, there are a few practical weaknesses worth mentioning. The dual fuel system means you have two sets of controls, which can feel a bit confusing at first. The gas knobs have that classic, heavy feel, but the electric oven controls are a separate digital panel, and you have to remember which temperature setting corresponds to which fuel source. It's easy to set the oven temperature and then forget you're still on a gas burner, leading to a slight mismatch if you're not careful. I also found that the oven's interior, while sleek, lacks the heavy-duty racks you'd see on a professional-grade unit.